Hello lovely people. So for today's video I am doing a bit of an experiment slash engaging with something that I don't know why I was good about this in the beginning but of my practice as a searching out, but then over the years I have fallen off of contacting different deities, and other than the ones that I work with regularly slash am more dedicated to, and the differences with that and how that may or may not be affecting my magic in a good way. And I had a little bit of an epiphany about it the other day. I was like, that's something we should explore. So one of the reasons this kind of came up is that I have been back in the dating sphere, going out, trying things, getting out there, all that stuff. And like so many other people's, I have ups, I have downs, I have great successes, I have not the best situation. And I'm about to go on a date tonight. Just gotta doll up my hair a little bit, touch up the makeup from work, and we'll see what happens. But I was thinking on my walk home about possibly doing another love spell with Valentine's Day as the day this video is live. I could do another love spell. It's been a while since I've done any sort of bringing in a solid, cool partner into my life. Honestly, for me, I used to think that I was always shit at them and wasn't really good at doing that element of magic, when I realized actually, no, I was actually quite good. Because oftentimes the person that I would invoke, manifest, writing down their traits, whatever, would suddenly appear in my life. It's just often that those traits were not enough. I needed more happening. I don't know if I necessarily left room in any of those spells for more, for the things that would serve me better, make me a better partner, and all those elements. When bringing in gods, I brought in multiple different of the gods I work with. I have worked with Sobek, and he is a god of sexuality. That's part of his thing. Fertility is a big one, which beware on that. Along with his virality, that type of thing. So it would make sense. And he is still very much, if I see a crocodile thing kind of happen on a date, I'm always a little more wary. I've talked about that thing before. But beyond that with gods, when it comes to like invoking different ones, working with them, doing spells, yada yada yada. I don't know why, but like the three gods that I work with, or their aspects that I like to explore within their myths, Persephone, Loki, Sobek. None of those necessarily love deities. Love ain't necessarily their thing, they're bread and butter. And when I think of the pagans of the olden days, there was a pantheon of gods because you were going to that specific god for their speciality. And I don't know why, but for some reason, as along the lines, I thought, oh, all of my spells should be invoking of the gods I work with. And so along the lines, I stopped thinking of like who's someone else I could get offerings to. Yes, Defoof, it's a problem. So with that in mind, why don't we go to the love goddess herself, or one of them. There are many. Not saying be all and all, but the first one that comes to mind for me always is Aphrodite. So anyway, I actually went on a good date for the first time in the new year since that started, which is amazing. And here's just a small little offering to Aphrodite before I went on it. One is I have these earrings, which are little shells. I'm not wearing them now, I think they're in my purse, but seashells, Aphrodite, clearly that's a link of the sea. And so with her as well, I also did this with my lipstick and a little rose necklace that I then blessed with some rose petals. This is what we got going here, just a little something all set to go. And next to the rose quartz here, rose petals, clearly sealed in. Good, good, good. Yes, good offering tray. But that's only one date. And I'm tired of having a date, one good date, and then they disappear. Or I get ghosted, or then by the second date I really just don't like them anymore. Like, this is a reoccurring problem that has gone on through all my dating life. It's just that getting that momentum seems to be an issue, and a little bit of oomph on the love goddess side would be fantastic. So I'm gonna make a little trip over to one of my favorite apothecaries and see if they have any pink candles. But first I need to grab a coffee because, yeah. So my ass walked all the way down there and found out that what? Tis closed. Tis closed on the Sundays. Saturdays is open, but Roots and Crowns not open. And they definitely had the pink candles. It was right there. It was perfect. But and I don't have time tomorrow. And I want to do the spell before Valentine's Day to get this video out on Valentine's Day. And also because there's something about like when a major day is coming, kind of like having all these building elements to a spell, and then it's like good to go on the actual day, I feel like works well. So, in other ways to keep my Aphrodite shit going here, I think we're just gonna improvise on that front. So, I have a standard little white candle that I burnt a little bit here, but not too bad, so I think this will be a good. And then I'm just gonna take the rose petals from earlier, and I'm going to burn this lovely kissy thing that I showed earlier, and I'm just going to press all of that into the candle, and this will be my spell candle that I actually burn through for my little offering to her. That'll work, right? And then saving money, it makes sense. It's fine, it's things we already have. In this economy, that's what we do. So, anyway, going on to talk about exactly why I'm doing this spell and one of the reasons I want to reach out to Aphrodite and all those things is because I kind of like got it in my head for some reason. I thought that like to be an eclectic pagan, and for me that means basically if that one of these gods exist in any way, shape, or form, then all of them must exist. And what exist means to each person, I divvy up to y'all to decide what you believe personally, because I have very much a straddle the line theory when it comes to whether the deities are out there, actually interested in us, actually doing things, yada yada yada. For me this works, and my idea of belief is a foof. 1, 2, 3, kitty reveal. Hello the foof. Yeah, you wanna join? Okay, we join. Join the party. What do you think? So in this idea I was always like, oh well, if I'm not going to pick a pantheon per se, because one, people back in the day mix stuff all the times because cultures interlocked more than we like to think of them as like set places, right? Like borders changed. What we think of as countries and places weren't even countries and places way back in the day. You know what I mean? Like all that mixing. But beyond that, I don't know why, but I still in my head it's like, okay, well if you're gonna mix pantheons, then like you just have to stick within the ones you've chosen to work with more closely. I've dedicated a lot to Persephone. Most of my energy work goes to her, so she was the one I was calling in a lot. And then Sobek I would call in. He's a god of virality, is part of his thing, as I mentioned earlier, and so I would call him in and certain things, and that has also been a key for me when it's been a sign regularly that when I have been uncertain and not good about trusting my gut about whether or not someone is like a decent human and I should continue to see them, a crocodile randomly pops up, whether a tattoo on the waiter's arm, in the back of the bar we're in, random statue. It's always very odd, but they're there. And so some of this stuff has worked a lot, but again, like I said earlier, none of these gods have actually, like, love isn't their like go-to thing. This is very specific, and I want to get a very specific thing done within my dating life and hopefully move that forward, even if it's just a more quality thing. And so actually going to the gods that are specific about this, so for me I'm choosing Aphrodite, as I think that she's probably the most closest one, the first I could think of, so that's the one we're going with. Figuring out her associations and doing a spell towards her is the same thing that, you know, women back in ancient Greece or Rome would do, although it would be Venus instead of Aphrodite. Yeah. People would go to specific gods and petition them for the things that they wanted. That there was their pantheon, but so if I'm working with multiple pantheons, why can't I also go do that and petition gods? Of course you can. Of course you can do that. You don't have to necessarily say, no, I could never work with any gods before. And I don't know why I put that restriction on myself. I think part of it was because I had it in my head of, even though I was open to chaotic and creating my own path and traditions that were to me, there was some part of me, I think, that was craving the structure of working with my gods, and if I was going to dedicate so much of my energy and stuff to them, then they would be the only ones I would work with. They would be the ones that would show me the type of relationships in all aspects of my life that I needed, whether it be financial, romance, familial, structurally, like all of the things. And I don't know why, but it's like, that's not their speciality. That's not their speciality. That's not what they specialize in. So why not go to a god who specializes in love? Petition them. They're the ones who actually have more push and pull and control over this. And I think of it a lot of this way too, is like how we humans love to specialize or focus in on certain things. It's kind of a little bit of go to the expert when you have an issue, right? Why wouldn't I bring in a goddess of love if that is what I am ultimately looking for? So that's kind of just been like my weird hypothesis with this, and kind of working through a weird restriction that I put on myself in my own craft in the last couple of years. And it has been the last couple of years, because if you have been here for a while, you'll remember back in 2019, I did a whole video about all the different goddesses specifically, with other deities as well, that I have interacted with that I ended up not working with very long term. And I think at that time it was, I still was feeling that pressure of having this more like concrete, permanent, lifelong working with a god, and that's not necessarily needed. If I believe possibly all of them are out there and all of them deserve reverence and respect, well then going to the one with an offering and being like, hey, here I am, mind helping me out? Asking a favor works just as well. We think. And your name's Amore, so that's very, very apropos to the video. It is. Oh my goodness, the purrs. Do you purr loud enough for the camera? We think. Ooh, hopefully that worked.